What's going on, everyone? My name is Silk, and here's another episode of Step Into My World. On today's show, we're going to be stepping into the world of my greatest top 5 rappers of all time. That's right, my top 5. But at the end of the show, I want to hear your top 5 is. But let's get started. My top 5, we're going to start with number 5. I was going to go number 1, but we're going to go with number 5. And don't turn it off, don't get upset. Just bear with me. Because I know I'm going to get a lot of people upset with this one. Number 5 is Biggie Smalls. That's right, the notorious B.I.G. What do you mean, Silk? Biggie should be number 1, number 2. Yeah, that's arguable. But I'm going to tell you why I believe he's number 5. You know, for the simple fact, Biggie was the greatest at the time he was. He reigned for a long time. But in all aspects, it really wasn't that long if you think about it compared to the other greats. You know, having 3 albums and doing what he did during those 3 albums was truly remarkable. You know, he led that East Coast movement for a long time. And I gotta pay homage to him. Dropping songs like Biggie, 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 It Was All a Dream, and so many others. His songs are still heard through the radio this day, and that shows how great of an impact he was on hip-hop. My number 4 is an artist who is highly recognized as still being one of the greats today. Nominated for Album of the Year. Actually, the first to ever be nominated for Album of the Year. Having a number 1 song a whole lot of times. Went through so many controversy. You know, his first album only sold for 1,000 copies, but he kept working hard through controversy. And he paved the way for a lot of other artists to make it today. I'm talking about Eminem. You see, now Eminem, he did his thing, and he's still doing it today. And he paved the way for other artists of other races to do their thing. Paul Wall, Yellow Wolf, MGK, Mac Miller, Macklemore. Eminem paved the way for them to get recognized just a little bit more. You see, because everybody just thought hip-hop was all about just being black. And because of that, Eminem battled through so much controversy. But Eminem will take on anybody. One of the greatest battlers that hip-hop has ever seen. He can end people's career, people. Eminem is real. And that's why he's number 4. So you see, number 3 has to go to my man Nas. Dropping albums like Illmatic, Stillmatic, and so many others. You see, Nas is one of those rappers who rapped about influencing people, about uplifting the black community. It was all about just picking up one mic, and he could probably just change the world. Other great songs like If I Still Ruled the World, which motivated me every day, and it stayed on replay on my iPod, and it still does to this day. See, Nas has that impact on people, and he said it for himself. It's not about the money. It's about the impact. You can hear me quoting a lot of Nas throughout this day. Nas is one of the greatest people. Maybe he's a little underrated because he's not putting out so many club songs. But hey, Nas is one of the greatest rappers of all time. And he's still out to this day, and he's still working hard. Also known for his great battle with Jay-Z, he killed it. That changed the battling game in hip-hop forever. Now everybody wants to start beefing battle. But not everybody did it like Nas did it. He set that plateau for others to possibly try to get upon. It's Nas, and that's number 3. Now, number 2 just happens to be my favorite rapper. And you know, from College Dropout to Late Registration to Graduation to 808s and Heartbreaks to Watch the Throne, just so many albums. But he also did it being a producer. He was producing before he was doing what he's doing now. And he's still producing. You should know what I'm talking about by now. Kanye West, people. Kanye West is one of those rappers who just don't care what you think, man. He don't care. But He works hard at what he does, and I respect him for that. If he's having a bad day and you put a camera to his face, it might get broke. If he feels like he's getting cheated, or feels like Beyonce's getting cheated, he'll go on stage and he'll tell you about it. But that's just Kanye. Maybe you don't like his personality, but at least he's being real. But we have to pay our respects for the fact that he dropped Jesus Walks. But you see, nobody was putting a religion in hip-hop. Yeah, we had Christian rappers, but they weren't in the hip-hop mainstream that I'm talking about. Jesus Walks dropped out. It was such an impact. And it made such a shock to a lot of people. It was such a chance he had to take, but he did it, and it worked. Still recognized as one of the greatest songs of hip-hop of all time. That's right. That's Kanye West. But I'm going to give you one more. My number one. Y'all, some people are thinking, yo, it's got to be Tupac. It's got to be Tupac, right? Nah. Tupac is definitely top 10, but not in my top 5, and definitely not in my top 1. I'm talking about this man from Reasonable Doubt to the Magna Carta to one of the greatest albums of all time in Blueprint. You know, dropping songs isn't nothing to him. Selling 420,000, CDs in a week isn't nothing to him. I'm talking about Jay-Z, people. J-Hove. So many influential songs. So many songs that we played in the club. Doesn't matter if you're 8 years old, or you're 80 years old. You can still nod your head to something. He can still relate to all people. And that's the impact that Jay-Z has made in this industry. And it's something special. But not only that, he's doing things outside the industry. And I just want to touch on that because a lot of people are thinking, okay, so Silk, how do you make your top 5? Because it's not about just being a great lyricist, but it's the influence you're making on people in hip-hop and outside of hip-hop. Jay-Z is loved by all races of people. If marrying the greatest pop star of all time, the greatest pop star of all time. Yeah, I said it. Beyonce is the greatest pop star of all time. Pop, R&B, whatever you want to say, she's the greatest. About time people start saying that. But not only that, he supports the Black College Tour. He funds that. Sending kids to college. He doesn't even put his name on that. But he doesn't. I respect that. I'm not saying other artists don't do that because they probably do, but I just want to take the time to talk about Jay-Z. Because he's been doing it for a while. And he's highly recognized as one of the greatest of all time. But he is my number one. He is the greatest of all time. Doing other things outside of hip-hop. Owning basketball teams, clubs, and liquor, and clothing lines. Giving people a chance to sign with Roc Nation. He's helping so many other people, and he's doing his thing, and he's so business-minded that it's working. That's why Jay-Z is number one. So, there you have it. My top 5. But I want to hear about your top 5. So feel free to hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. It's the same, KingSilk88. That's right, KingSilk88. Let me know who your top 5 is, and tell me how you feel about my top 5. Tell me if I'm wrong, if influence and being a lyricist combined isn't good enough to be in your top 5. Tell me what it takes to be in your top 5, and who are they and why are they there. This is Silk for another episode of Step Into My World. You can catch me on Comcast and WGBS7, my local cable television stations. I'm going to be up there again. I love y'all, man. Keep dreaming. Stay believing in yourself. Never forget, if you just work hard, your dreams will come true. This is Silk signing off. Y'all be easy, man.